Lieutenant Alex Carter had seen many strange things in his young career, but nothing had prepared him for Zyphora. From the moment his shuttle descended through the violet clouds, he knew this world was different. The sky shimmered with hues of teal and magenta, and the city below floated like a jewel above the planet's surface. Towering spires glimmered in the light of two suns, and strange flying creatures moved gracefully between them. It was a place out of a dream. Yet, he was wide awake. He adjusted his uniform nervously as the shuttle landed on a gleaming platform. His mission was simple, but nerve-wracking. Meet Princess Lyra, the ruler of Zyphora's central city, and make a good impression. Humans had only recently established contact with this alien civilization, and this meeting could shape the first true alliance between Earth and Zyphora. Alex reminded himself over and over, "Do not mess this up." The palace doors opened silently, as if sensing his presence, revealing a grand hall that stretched higher than any building he had ever seen. Light floated like ribbons in the air, illuminating walls adorned with intricate patterns that seemed to shift as he looked at them. He had been trained for diplomacy, but the sheer beauty of the place stole his breath. Every step he took echoed softly on the polished floor, making him feel smaller with every move. At the far end of the hall, a figure moved with unmatched grace. Princess Lyra. She was unlike anything Alex had ever imagined. Her skin had a soft luminescence, and her hair shimmered like spun silver. But what caught his attention most were the wings folded neatly against her back. They were long, delicate, and seemed to hum with energy. Despite himself, Alex's eyes lingered a moment too long, drawn to the elegant curve of her wings. He immediately realized his mistake. The human in him had done what his mind had warned against, staring. His heart pounded, and he forced his gaze forward. Lyra noticed. She spun around with startling speed, her wings stretching briefly in a dazzling display of light. "Why are you staring at my back, human?" she asked, her voice melodious but carrying an edge of authority. Alex froze. His mouth opened, then closed. Lyra raised an eyebrow, and the palace guards behind her tensed. They were tall, imposing figures with sleek armor that shimmered like liquid metal. Any offense against the princess could have ended badly. Alex swallowed, knowing that one wrong word could cost him his life, or worse, the fragile alliance Earth was trying to build. I wasn't staring, Your Highness," he stammered finally. "I was admiring the architecture and, the decorations." His explanation sounded clumsy, even to his own ears. Lyra studied him for a long moment, her sharp eyes narrowing. Then, surprisingly, she laughed. It was a sound that seemed to make the walls glow brighter. "You humans are always so awkward," she said, shaking her head. "I see now why you are interesting. You cannot hide your thoughts easily, and yet you try." Relief washed over Alex, though his cheeks burned. "Thank you, Princess. I mean, Your Highness," he said, bowing slightly. "Call me Lyra," she said with a small smile. "I am curious about humans, Lieutenant. Tell me, what is it about Zyphora that fascinates you so?" Alex hesitated. How could he explain without sounding foolish? Your wings, Princess," he admitted, glancing briefly at them before looking away. "They are remarkable. I have never seen anything like them." Lyra's smile widened. "Ah, you did notice after all," she said, her tone playful. "Very well, Lieutenant. Since you are so observant, I will show you something few outsiders ever see." With that, she gestured for him to follow. The guards moved aside, and Alex stepped carefully, trying not to trip over the smooth floor. He followed Lyra through corridors that twisted in impossible angles, the walls alive with glowing patterns that shifted as if reacting to their presence. Finally, they arrived at a hidden door, invisible from the main hall. Lyra pressed a small device against it, and the door slid open silently. Beyond was a chamber, unlike any Alex had imagined. It was a library, but not an ordinary one. Holographic books floated in midair, and glowing orbs hovered, projecting knowledge in colors he could not name. Alien scripts scrolled across the walls, and Alex realized that this chamber held centuries of Xipheran history, science, and art. "This is the Chamber of Secrets," Lyra explained. "It is where the royal family keeps the knowledge of our civilization. Most humans are never allowed here." "Well," Alex's eyes widened. I am honored, Princess." Lyra shook her head slightly. "You misunderstand. It is not about honor. It is about curiosity. I want to see if your species can understand what we know, and perhaps offer insights we have never considered." Alex nodded, swallowing hard. She led him to a section where floating spheres displayed images of planets, stars, and strange alien machinery. "This is the beginning of your test," she said. "These puzzles are simple for my kind, but humans think differently. I want to see if you can solve them." Alex blinked. "Puzzles?" Lyra smiled mysteriously. "Yes. They are games of the mind. Consider them icebreakers." He stepped forward hesitantly. The first puzzle appeared before him. A holographic shape that shifted constantly, forming patterns that seemed impossible to predict. Alex stared at it, feeling a rush of panic. He had no experience with alien logic, yet he remembered something his father had told him. Think like a human, not like them. Slowly, he began to notice patterns, movements that repeated at intervals, shapes that fit together in unexpected ways. He reached out, using his fingers to manipulate the hologram. It wobbled and spun, then clicked into place. A soft chime echoed through the chamber. Lyra's eyes widened in surprise. "You solved it?" she asked, clearly impressed. "Most humans would fail for hours or give up entirely." Alex let out a shaky breath. I guess I just looked at it differently." Lyra's wings fluttered slightly, a subtle sign of amusement. "Indeed, you see what others cannot. That is promising." For the next hour, she guided him through more puzzles, each one more challenging than the last. At every step, Alex relied on intuition, creativity, and a stubborn refusal to fail. Slowly, he realized that he was not just impressing the princess, he was learning, adapting, and discovering strengths he had never known he had. Finally, Lyra stopped at a glowing chamber in the corner. "One last test," she said, her tone serious now. "This room contains our oldest defense mechanism. If triggered, it will seal the chamber and lock it indefinitely. I want to see if you can navigate it safely." Alex nodded, swallowing hard. He stepped inside carefully, scanning the floor and walls. As he moved, he accidentally triggered a sensor. Alarms hummed, and glowing barriers rose around them. Lyra's eyes flashed with surprise. "Careful, human!" she shouted. Alex's mind raced. He could not rely on brute force. Instead, he observed the barrier's patterns, noticing the timing of their rise and fall. Using his knowledge of physics, he calculated the intervals and moved at precisely the right moments. Sweat dripped down his temple as he navigated the maze, each step requiring focus and courage. Finally, with a daring leap, he deactivated the final sensor, and the alarms fell silent. Lyra clapped her hands, a sound that echoed like music. "Remarkable," she said. "You are brave, clever, and quick to adapt. Perhaps humans are not as weak as many believe." Alex breathed heavily, feeling both relief and pride. "Thank you, Princess Lyra. I only did what I could." Lyra smiled, wings spreading slightly as she walked closer. "No, Alex. You did more than what you could. You have proven that humanity has something special, something unexpected in this galaxy. Curiosity, courage, and ingenuity. For the first time, Alex felt a spark of hope. Perhaps humans could belong here, in the wider galaxy, not as weak newcomers, but as equals, capable of extraordinary things. As they walked back toward the main hall, Alex dared a glance at Lyra's back again, but this time, it was not fear or fascination, but admiration and respect. He realized that this meeting was only the beginning, and that his life and the future of Earth might change forever because of this encounter. And Lyra, sensing the potential in this human, knew she had discovered someone rare, a being who could surprise even the oldest and wisest of her kind. The story of their journey had only begun. After the daring test in the Chamber of Secrets, Lieutenant Alex Carter followed Princess Lyra deeper into the palace. The corridors twisted and turned in ways that defied logic, but Alex moved carefully, trying not to stumble over the smooth, glowing floor. The walls seemed alive, their patterns shifting subtly as if watching them. He couldn't help but feel a mix of awe and nervousness. Every step forward reminded him that he was far from Earth and far from anything familiar. Lyra led him to a hidden door, smaller than the others but marked with intricate symbols that shimmered faintly. She touched the symbols lightly, and the door slid open silently. Beyond it lay a vast chamber filled with glowing orbs, floating platforms, and holographic displays projecting alien landscapes, star systems, and strange machines. "This," Lyra said, her voice calm but commanding, "is the Chamber of Knowledge. Few outsiders ever see it. Here, you will find the wisdom of my people, if you are clever enough to understand it." Alex's eyes widened. I am honored, Princess. But I have no experience with this technology. How am I supposed to understand it?" Lyra's smile was faint but sharp. "Experience is not required. Observation, logic, and creativity are. That is how humans think, is it not?" Alex nodded, feeling both pressure and excitement. The first challenge appeared immediately. A holographic structure floated before him, rotating slowly. Shapes within it shifted constantly, connecting and disconnecting in patterns that seemed impossible to predict. "Your task," Lyra said, "is to align the structure so that the energy flows through all nodes without interruption. Many of my kind solve this easily. Humans, sometimes, struggle." Alex swallowed. He studied the structure carefully, his mind racing. He noticed that certain patterns repeated, though in slightly different ways each time. Using logic, he began moving the nodes, testing combinations, failing, and trying again. Each attempt taught him more about the structure's subtle rules. Finally, after what felt like hours, the last node clicked into place. A soft hum echoed through the chamber. Lyra's eyes widened, and a faint smile appeared on her lips. "You did it," she said softly. "Most humans would have given up. Yet you persisted. You adapt. That is rare." Alex felt a surge of pride. But there was no time to relax. Lyra moved to the next challenge. A sphere floating above the floor, projecting images of planets, asteroids, and alien ships. "This," she explained, "is a tactical simulation. The Dravari, our old rivals, would attack in patterns like this, predict their moves, and redirect the ships safely." Alex frowned, studying the projections. Unlike humans, the aliens seemed to rely on instinct and predefined strategies. But humans had creativity, unpredictability. Slowly, he began to see the weaknesses in the Dravari patterns. Using logic and intuition, he moved the ships, creating paths that avoided collisions and maximized efficiency. Lyra observed silently, her wings twitching in subtle excitement. Alex noticed that each time he succeeded, The princess's gaze became less formal and more intrigued. By the end of the simulation, she clapped lightly. "Remarkable," she said. "You think differently than my people. That is why I am curious about humans. You have strengths we did not anticipate. Flexibility, creativity, ingenuity, and courage." Alex felt warmth rise in his chest. He had always believed humans were capable, but to hear it from an alien princess, someone so far beyond human understanding, felt extraordinary. Lyra led him further into the chamber, to a series of platforms hovering above a glowing pit. Each platform projected alien runes that changed constantly. "The final test," she said. "You must cross these platforms to reach the exit. Touch the wrong rune, and the chamber seals. You may be trapped indefinitely." Alex gulped. He stepped onto the first platform carefully. The runes shifted beneath his feet, responding to his movements. He realized that brute speed would fail. He needed timing, observation, and calm reasoning. Step by step, he moved across, adjusting his weight, reading patterns, and predicting the runes' changes. His heart pounded, and sweat formed on his brow, but he kept going. He remembered his father's advice. Think like yourself. Humans solve problems differently. Trust that. Finally, he reached the last platform. A soft click echoed, and the chamber's barriers receded. He exhaled, feeling both exhaustion and triumph. Lyra stepped forward, her eyes shining with admiration. "You are impressive, Alex. Not because you are human, but because you embody what your species does best: curiosity, courage, and ingenuity. I see potential here, more than I expected." Alex bowed slightly. "Thank you, Princess Lyra. I only did what I could." "No," she replied, shaking her head. "You did more than most of my people could. That is why I brought you here. To see what humans are truly capable of. To see if you can rise above the limitations that others perceive in you." As they walked back toward the chamber's entrance, Alex noticed a large holographic map projected in the center of the room. Stars, planets, and strange symbols appeared, connected by glowing lines. Lyra gestured toward it. "This," she said, "is our galaxy and the neighboring systems. The Dravari, whom you saw in the simulation, are not just rivals. They are a threat. They covet territory and knowledge. And they are clever, more than you may expect." Alex leaned closer, examining the lines connecting different systems. "Do they know about humans?" he asked. Lyra shook her head. "Not yet. But if they learn of your species, they will underestimate you, or try to eliminate you. You see, humans are unpredictable, and unpredictability can be dangerous to those who rely on control." Alex felt a chill. "Are we?" Lyra smiled faintly, though her eyes were serious. "Danger exists everywhere, but your presence here, your abilities, they may tip the balance. You have shown me that humans can think in ways even the oldest of my kind cannot predict." For the first time, Alex understood that his actions had meaning beyond personal success. His ingenuity and courage could influence not just a test or a simulation, but the fate of two civilizations. Lyra guided him to a quieter corner of the chamber. "I want to show you something else," she said. She pressed a symbol on the wall, and a hidden doorway opened, leading to a smaller chamber filled with glowing artifacts. Some looked like tools, others like weapons, but all were unlike anything Alex had seen. "These are relics of our ancestors," Lyra explained. "They are powerful, but only in the hands of those who understand them, and not all humans would survive using them. But perhaps you might." Alex's eyes widened. "Relics? Weapons? Ope?" Lyra shook her head. "Not merely weapons. Tests of mind and spirit. Your species has potential I want to explore, But more than that, there is a storm coming. The Dravari may strike sooner than we expect, and we need allies. I want to see if you, a human, can rise to the challenge. Alex felt both fear and determination. He had always known humans were clever and brave, but this was beyond any challenge he had faced. He realized that this moment, this encounter, was more than a test of skill. It was a test of trust, courage, and collaboration across worlds. Lyra extended her hand, and Alex shook it firmly. "I will do whatever I can, Princess," he said. "For Zyphora, and for Earth." Lyra nodded. "Good. That is all I ask. Curiosity and courage can achieve what technology alone cannot. You have proven that humans are not weak. You are unpredictable, and that is your greatest strength." The sound of distant alarms suddenly echoed through the chamber. Alex and Lyra turned toward the main hall. Red warning lights flashed across the walls. "The Dravari," Lyra said quietly, her voice tense. "They are approaching faster than we thought." Alex's pulse quickened. This was no longer a simulation. Real danger loomed. He could feel the weight of responsibility pressing on him. Yet, he did not feel fear, at least not paralyzing fear. He felt determination, the same determination that had allowed him to succeed in every puzzle, every challenge Lyra had set before him. Lyra moved closer. "We must prepare. You have shown me what humans are capable of. Now, we will see if you can apply it in the real world." Alex straightened, feeling a surge of resolve. "We'll face them together, Princess, and we won't fail." Lyra's wings shifted slightly, a subtle sign of approval. "Yes, together. Let the Dravari see that humans are not weak, that they are unpredictable, that they can fight not just with strength, but with intelligence, courage, and heart." As they exited the hidden chambers, Alex knew that his life and the future of humanity in the galaxy was about to change forever. The tests, the puzzles, the simulations had been only preparation. The real challenge had arrived. And for the first time, he truly understood the meaning of the princess's words. Humans were capable of greatness. Not because of sheer power, but because of something no alien civilization could predict. Adaptability, ingenuity, and courage. The galaxy was vast, the threats were real, and the Dravari were coming. But Alex Carter, human lieutenant, was ready. And so, the stage was set for an alliance that could change the course of history for Earth, for Zyphora, and for all who dared to underestimate humanity. The twin suns of Zyphora burned brightly in the violet sky as Lieutenant Alex Carter and Princess Lyra stood on the palace terrace, overlooking the sprawling city below. The glowing towers and floating gardens that had amazed Alex before now seemed fragile against the approaching threat. In the distance, dark ships of the Dravari fleet sliced through the sky, their angular forms ominous against the brilliant light. Lyra's wings spread slightly as she surveyed the horizon. "They are more numerous than we expected," she said, her voice calm but edged with concern. "The Dravari think us unprepared. They will learn otherwise." Alex's pulse quickened. He had trained for many situations on Earth, but nothing had prepared him for this moment, standing alongside an alien princess as enemy warships approached at impossible speeds. Yet he felt no panic. All the tests, puzzles, and simulations had led to this. His mind was sharp, his instincts honed, and he had seen that humans had a kind of strength the Dravari could not predict. "What do we do?" he asked, his voice steady. Lyra turned to him, her glowing eyes bright with determination. "We fight smart, not just hard. Follow my lead, but trust your instincts. Your species has something my people sometimes lack. Unpredictability." Unpredictability. Alex nodded. He moved to the holographic tactical table on the terrace, which projected a real-time map of the city and the approaching fleet. Using what he had learned in the Chamber of Knowledge, he began suggesting strategies. "We can split their forces," he said, pointing at the projections. "If we use our aerial defenses to create narrow corridors, their ships will be forced to move in predictable patterns. Then we can strike at their engines, not their weapons. We make them vulnerable, where they think they are strongest." Lyra tilted her head, impressed. "A human strategist. Bold, but clever. You may just survive this." The first Dravari ships entered striking range, and the city's defense systems activated. Energy beams shot into the sky, striking the alien vessels. Explosions illuminated the violet clouds, sending shockwaves across the terrace. Alex felt the hum of the city's energy beneath his feet as the palace shields absorbed the initial assault. "Good," Lyra said, her wings flexing in anticipation. "Now apply your plan." Alex focused. He gave clear commands to the Zypheran defense officers, blending human unpredictability with alien technology. Instead of following the same attack patterns the Dravari expected, he suggested feints, sudden shifts, and deceptive maneuvers. The first wave of enemy ships, confident in their numbers, flew straight into traps Alex had devised. Energy beams struck the engines of several vessels, sending them spiraling into the sky. The Dravari commander, sensing something unexpected, altered tactics. Smaller, faster ships darted toward the city, aiming to bypass defenses and strike key structures. Lyra and Alex exchanged a glance, their unspoken understanding clear. They had to work together. "Follow my lead," Lyra said. She took to the sky, her wings unfurling fully, and glided toward the attackers. Alex, unsure at first, activated a personal flight suit provided by the Zypherans. The suit responded instantly, lifting him into the air. He felt the rush of wind and energy, but instead of fear, he felt exhilaration. This was no longer a simulation. It was real, and he was alive in it. They swooped through the battle together. Lyra's movements were precise, almost artistic, while Alex applied human improvisation. He noticed patterns in the Dravari attacks that Lyra's centuries of training had not predicted. With a quick flick of his wrist, he redirected energy blasts to intercept multiple ships at once, saving key structures and civilian areas. Lyra glanced at him, her eyes wide with admiration. "Clever, human. You think differently, and that is why we may survive this." The battle raged across the city and sky. Alex's human intuition proved invaluable. He coordinated ambushes, guided Zypheran forces through unexpected routes, and even predicted the enemy's next moves. Slowly, the tide began to turn. The Dravari, confident in their superiority, now faced losses they had not anticipated. At one point, a massive Dravari flagship broke through the outer defenses and headed straight for the palace. Alarms blared as energy beams fired at it, but the ship's shields were too strong. Lyra moved to intercept it, but Alex had a different idea. "Use the energy conduits," he shouted. "Redirect the city's power through the spires to create a magnetic trap. Draw the ship in, and it will be immobilized." Lyra's eyes narrowed, impressed by the audacity. She followed his instructions precisely. Energy flowed through the palace, arcing across the spires, and converging in a dazzling web of light. The Dravari flagship entered the trap and was caught instantly, its engines frozen by the magnetic field. Sparks danced across its hull as the remaining ships hesitated, unsure how to respond. The city erupted in cheers as the immediate threat was neutralized. Alex landed on the terrace beside Lyra, breathing heavily but smiling. She looked at him, her wings folding slightly in relief and admiration. "You have done well," she said. "Humans are unpredictable. Yes, but also courageous, clever, and resilient. I underestimated your kind. Not anymore." Alex shook his head, humbled. "I only did what humans do best. We adapt. We survive. We find solutions when others see none. Lyra smiled, a warmth in her expression that Alex had not expected from an alien princess. And that, Alex, is why humans will always have a place in this galaxy. Not because of strength alone, but because of heart, mind, and courage combined. The Dravari ships retreated, damaged and demoralized. Their attack had failed. The city and palace were safe, thanks to the collaboration between human ingenuity and Xipheran technology. As the sun set over the glowing city, painting the sky in rich violet and gold, Lyra and Alex stood side by side, overlooking the horizon. The battle was over, but the alliance between Earth and Xiphera had only begun. "You were remarkable," Lyra said quietly. "Most of my people would have relied on brute force or protocol. You improvised. You thought differently. You changed the outcome." Alex smiled, feeling a mix of pride and humility. "I just trusted what I know. Humans can do more than they are often given credit for. Sometimes, all it takes is the chance to prove it." Lyra nodded, her wings fluttering gently. "You have proven it today. And because of you, humans are no longer just newcomers in the eyes of Xiphora. You are allies, capable and respected." The city below began to hum with activity as repairs and recovery began. Citizens and soldiers alike moved with efficiency, inspired by the bravery displayed during the attack. Alex realized that he had not only helped save the palace, but had also inspired confidence in both humans and aliens alike. Lyra turned to him, her gaze softening. "Perhaps, Alex, your species is exactly what the galaxy needs. Not just strong, not just intelligent, but unpredictable, capable of seeing solutions that others cannot. That is a rare gift." Alex laughed lightly. "I think I speak for more than myself when I say we are ready to learn, fight, and survive alongside you, Princess." Lyra extended her hand. Alex shook it firmly. In that moment, the bond between human and Xipheran was solidified not by formal treaties or protocols, but by trust, respect, and shared courage in the face of danger. The twin suns dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the palace terrace. Alex looked up at the glowing wings of the princess, still folded gracefully, and felt a sense of awe and inspiration. Humanity had faced many challenges on Earth, but here, on Xiphera, they had proven something greater: that courage, ingenuity, and the human spirit could stand against the universe itself. The Dravari threat was not gone forever. Alex knew they might return, perhaps stronger and more determined. But he also knew that humans, when given the chance, could rise to any challenge, even alongside advanced alien civilizations. "Lyra," he said softly, "we will be ready next time. Humans, we do not give up." The princess looked at him, a smile of admiration and hope lighting her face. "I believe you, Alex. You have shown me what your species is capable of. I will make sure that the galaxy remembers it." As night fell over the floating city, the stars above shone brighter than ever. Among them, Alex felt a new sense of purpose. Humanity had taken its first true step into the wider galaxy. Not as weak newcomers, but as a species capable of courage, creativity, and brilliance. And as long as humans carried those qualities, no challenge, no matter how alien, vast, or terrifying, could defeat them. For in the face of the unknown, they were not weak. They were extraordinary. And with Princess Lyra by his side, Alex knew this was only the beginning of a story that would echo through the stars.